All right, welcome everybody. I'm Jabby Kuwait, joined by SYNTELL Kuwait.
Yo, what's cracking, baby?
We're doing another ice cream sandwich video. This one is called Getting Sick. If you guys haven't already, do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications. Pretty please vote this up. Let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. While you're subscribing, make sure to subscribe to Ice Cream Sandwich and subscribe to SYNTELL Kuwait. There are links in the description below for all that good stuff. Please click and subscribe. I got sick in November. I got the COVID. I became a statistic.
I'm glad you're here with us. You fought through it.
Exactly. Men fight against the need to bitch. They just tough it out. Whereas women dole out the bitching. So when they get sick, it's like not a big deal and they're able to just kind of power through it. They're used to dealing with stuff all the time. Because like every time I talk to a girl who gets horribly sick, they don't make it sound that bad. Whereas anytime a guy gets sick, it's like they are down for the count. It's like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson both punched him in the face at the same time. And so when I got sick in November, it's like the first 3 days, I was ready to I just wanted to end myself. I just want to take myself out the game. Take me now, God. Like, it's just too much. I can't. Just end the pain. It's always the first 3 days are so brutal. And then after that, I'm all right. But those first 3 days, man, it's like torture. I'm like, I'll give you the information. I just want to know what you want to know. So getting sick. Let's see what he's talking about here.
I don't know if you could tell from my voice right now, but I'm pretty sick. A vial.
It always starts out great. That happened to me all over Spain. People just be coughing with their mouth open all over Spain. If you ever travel to Spain, if you're in Spain, people cough. They just cough. Last night, I shamed someone accidentally into covering their mouth. I was walking around eating my ice cream outside of Gelson's. I looked and this lady just coughed. And I looked at her, just glanced over like someone coughed. And she looked at me and then she had to cough again. So she just, if you ever go to Spain, just be mindful. People cough mouth open. There's no Bela Lugosi. Like,
I don't know if you could tell from my voice right now, but I'm pretty sick. A vile harbinger of disease. Don't worry, it's not COVID. Everything's fine. But if you want to make me feel better, the only thing that'll make me feel better is to smash that subscribe. Being sick has made me think about a lot of things, like what it's like to breathe. I remember when being sick used to be awesome. You would get sick, go to the nurse's office, parents would pick you up, your mom will make you soup, and you get to watch cartoons or something for the rest of the day. Now, at least for me, getting sick is like, well, I have to work and be sick. Set up this is a scam. The world should not be this way.
This is a scam.
There should be a service that's like, when you're sick, somebody comes over and they make you soup and they tuck you in, give you a little kick on the head, and they put on a movie and they say, "You cozy?" You go, "Yeah, I'm cozy." Anyway, the worst time that I've ever gotten sick was probably appendicitis. I already made a video about that, though.
Yeah.
So, the other more recent bad time that I got sick was about a year ago now, when I was starting to feel very tingly in my appendages.
No.
And I'm like,
Oh no.
that's probably the worst thing possible. Let's Google everything.
It's the worst thing possible.
I knew it. So I made a doctor's appointment, and I go into the doctor. I talk to them about my symptoms and all these things, and they're like, "Is it COVID?" And I'm like, "No, I got many tests." And then they asked me some questions, took my temperature, and then they were like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Okay, just come back if it gets worse." And I did. And then the next doctor that I see was like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Okay." And they're like, "Well, let's recommend you to a neurologist because it could be a problem with your brain." And then I go to that doctor, and they're like, "Well, I don't know what it is either, but we should scan your skull and spine." And I'm like, "Well, why don't we just start with that?"
Exactly.
It's been weeks of these symptoms, and I'm just sitting here, just why don't we start with that? So, good news, we're not.
Why don't we start with the MRI machine? It's like Elysium, man. They're all in the sky. You put them over here where all the people are so we can use that cancer-freeing machine and not have cancer. All of us can be healed with this machine you're hogging up there amongst the wealthy white folks. It should be for everybody. Like, what the MRI is this thing that's like hoarded by the doctors for some reason. They don't let you just start with that to uncover all the symptoms that are possible.
Yeah, and you would think they would too, because in order to use one, like, it's an immediately $3,000 extra onto your medical bill that, you know, you get paid more when you get a chance to use the MRI if you're uninsured. So you would think that would kind of like be the lead off question, be like, "Hey, you want an MRI?" Be like, "Yo, I just got a hangnail."
You ever watch The Big Lebowski? He's like, the pain's right here, and the guy's like, "Take off your pants." The doctor's like, "Take your pants off." He's like, "No, but the pain's right here."
start with that. And so she's like, good news, we're not scanning a ton of people right now. We might be able to get you in today. I'm like, oh, this is good. She leaves for a little bit. She comes back. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I totally forgot. We have to. And then she said some word that I totally can't remember, but it's the process that she's like, we have to do this process. What the process is she has to go to the insurance company and says, do we have permission to do this procedure on the patient? And then the insurance company gives the green thumb. I'm sorry, why is that real? I could be melting from the inside out, and the insurance company, who's filled with 0% doctors, is going to be like, maybe, no. I have to wait an additional week for this stupid process to pass.
Wow.
What the heck? Next time you need help, and for some reason need my help specifically, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna wait a week for you. Kinda. Sorry, I don't know if you could tell, I'm kind of bitter about it. Anyway, I get approved, and so we move on. So I'm ready to get a scan for my skull, and it's fine. It's inside of an MRI machine. They're like, are you claustrophobic? Maybe a little bit. I guess we'll figure out while I'm in there. They're like, okay, cool.
You ever been in an MRI machine?
Yes.
Was it loud?
Tick, 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 tick. The other one I was in was.
Yeah, man.
But then again, maybe that was a CAT scan.
No.
I was in the one where it looks like that.
Yeah.
You go in,
Yeah.
it looks like you're going into a donut, and it makes that tank, 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 tank sound for like 20 minutes. Yeah.
Well, whatever I did, I think they were scanning. I forgot what they were scanning. I think it might have been my hip because I have a funny hip. It makes jokes all the time. Haha. I was in an MRI machine and they're like, okay, so you have to hold really still the entire time that you're in this. I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. I can hold still. And it made this loud noise over and over again. I'm like, oh God, I need to move my hands. I can't.
I guess we'll figure out while I'm in there. They're like, okay, cool. This is going to take about 1 hour.
Yeah.
And that made me a little nervous because I'm a really restless person. At all times, I have to be moving, whether it be moving my legs, moving
I know
my
that
wrists,
feeling.
rubbing my feet together like a little cricket in my bed. I don't know why. I haven't really looked into why that is.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit nervous. But they give you like these little headphones, and then they're like, do
They
you
didn't
like
do that for
classical
me.
music or jazz music? And I'm like,
I didn't get
let's do
no
jazz music.
headphones.
And then you go into the tube, and it's really, really tight. And it's kind of freaky. But the jazz music actually helps a little bit. I did surprisingly well. We got all the scans done. We only needed to redo one of them because I kind of twitched my head at one point after I was suppressing it so long. When I come out, they say, okay, we're going to look at these, we're going to see what's up, and then we're going to tell you. I'm actually like really freaked out.
That's like my thing when I'm in those kind of, when I have to sit real still. I'll have like a moment where my body's like, I can't take it. And I have to move. Yeah, no, I feel that.
Point after I was suppressing for so long. And I come out, they say, okay, we're going to look at these, we're going to see what's up, and then we're going to tell you. I'm actually like really freaked out because at this point, we're thinking, oh, a brain scan, the thing that's the most delicate part of your body, and they have to look at it and see if something's wrong with that. That's kind of freaky. So we wait. And then the results come back. The results were brain scan, unremarkable. Okay,
That's
I
a
think
thing?
Technically, I understand that that's a good thing, but you didn't have to say it like that. Spine scan, also unremarkable. I came up clean. So what the heck is wrong with me? Turns out, we never found out. I spent thousands upon dollars waiting, ultimately to amount to, I don't know what it is, and then eventually the symptoms went away. Great. What's the moral of the story here? I don't know. Thanks for watching.
Yo, that felt like a Seinfeld episode where it's just much ado about nothing, but it was still, I was highly entertained. That's brilliant that he can do that.
I remember hanging out with Chuck at some event. I forgot what it was, but there was a doctor, a hot lady there. She was a doctor lady person.
Dr. Hot Lady.
Dr. Hot Lady, yeah. And I was like, yo, is it cool if I just like keep in touch with you in case I just want to ask about like a symptom or something? She's like, yeah, it's cool. She's like, just so you know, most of the time, things just go away on their own. That's often what we end up recommending like 90% of the time. It'll go away on its own. As far as her perspective goes, because like oftentimes like what happened to him here, it'll just heal on its heal all by itself. Your body will figure itself out. Like we're so spoiled. We grow up conditioned to just like, fix it, you know? So I like, that's just so real to me because I would have gone through the same thing. If I had the jitters like that, I'd have been freaking out.
As you get older, your body starts to go through changes, and especially like your dermatology kind of parts, your skin starts to do like weird random things. And as I've gotten older, I've just gotten like used to it. Like I'll wake up and I'll look up and there's a weird spot on my arm and I'm like, that's kind of new, and I just kind of like keep it moving. But when you live with somebody and you're walking around naked, they can see things that you don't normally see. And, you know, my significant other, Michael Claire, be like, oh, you got like this weird thing on your back. And she'll be like looking at it and poking and prodding at it. And I'm like, no, you know, just leave it alone. You're not concerned? I'm like, no, because I got this spot here, this one here, that one there. And they all just magically kind of like just go away. If you leave it alone, it'll go away. But, you know, like clockwork, about every 2 or 3 days, you got this thing on the back of your neck, this thing on the back of your knee, right on the back of your back. Leave it alone. I promise you. The symptom is I'm old, super old. And this is what happens to old people. We get things that just appear. So please stop pointing out my deficiencies in the fact that I'm getting older.
If I notice a new thing, it gives me pause. I don't know if I told you, but I had like a growth. I forgot which side it was on. It was a growth. And I went to the dermatologist. He's like, yeah, that happens. I was like, what do you mean that happens? Why did that happen? Because I don't know. It just happens. The body's weird.
Welcome to the club.
And I was like, well, what do I do about it? He's like, you can leave it alone. It's not going to hurt you. I'm like, it's like a little rock. He's like, I can cut it out. I go, yeah, let's cut it out. Let's do that. Let's get it out.
You're like, I don't want to just sit there and have it stare at me.
As a guy, my brain automatically goes to the place of, what if I'm with a new girl and then that's the first thing she notices and then she wants to put her clothes back on and leave.
Wow. Your 0 to 100, I love. Yeah. I love that. I can imagine the dates, spectacular. You've made her laugh, the dinner, movie, all that other stuff. And then the one deal breaker is that little dot that you got on your shoulder. She's like, nope, that's it. These drawers shall never be shed for you because of that dot.
It's the nubbin, you know? I want it gone. Chandler had a third nipple and he called it a nubbin.
You have a third nipple?
You told me it was a nubbin.
So I was like, yo, you got to take it out. He's like, it might go away. I'm like, I don't want to might. I want to, it's now. Take your little magic sticks and get rid of that shit. But anyway, yeah, I relate to this hard. It is a very confusing thing. Like, I'm still kind of stuck on that. Like, it is very confusing to me that you're not allowed to start with higher tier things. Like, you have to go through these other steps. And from the doctor's perspective, I understand. Like, I get why they take you through those steps. But from my perspective of being a person that is busy, most people don't want to come back to the doctor 7 times. Then you got to get a sitter or you got to take time off work. It's just annoying to have to go to the hospital. Can we just start with the top tier thing? Maybe make more MRI machines. How about that, genius?
Like the process of going to the doctor, obviously it's different here in the States because money is king and the insurance company got to get their cut first. But for those of you all who may not necessarily have to jump through those particular hoops, like do you guys go like straight to the MRI machine? They're like, oh, we know exactly the tools that we need in order to solve this problem, and it's solved within like 24 hours.
Canada, for instance, you can be on a waiting list for a long time. So people are less inclined to go to the doctor unless it's very serious. So like if you have a little cough or whatever, most people won't go to the doctor in places where you have free health insurance or access to like free health care. They'll just not go. By the time you get seen, you'll be healed anyway.
Okay. I'm curious.
So,
okay.
Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging with us. Do subscribe, bell icon, all notifications, vote this up, subscribe to Ice Cream Sandwich, subscribe to SYNTELL Kuwait, links in the description below. I am Jabby Kuwait. This is...
Hey, it's your boy SYNTELL.
Peace out.